What is going on, jerk faces? It's your boy Andy, and you're watching Nocturnal Transmissions, presented to you by the Circle of Jerks podcast. It's a conversation you could be having during the day, but having at night. Today we are doing a pre-tape, but not because Robert screwed up, but
Yeah.
hey, right? Oh, hey, finally. No, it was just a scheduling conflict on my part. So yeah, so that's why we're doing this pre-tape. But it should be going up the usual time as the live stream. So no confusions on there. So again, yes, we are doing this pre-tape, but and as always, co-host, being the Chewbacca to my Han Solo is homeboy Rob.
What's going on, guys? I
Yes.
feel like my maybe it's not gonna come out in the audio, but like my voice feels like Chewbacca right now. I feel like I've been feeling like my voice just like draining more and more all day.
Yeah.
So I feel a little today.
Uh-huh.
It would suck because we got this, and then tomorrow we're gonna be doing some more filming. So I need to shake it loose.
Right, yes, I know. Oh man, I don't know why, but anyways, before I get into it, let's get this conversation started. So, yeah, if you guys weren't, if you're not from the Southern California area, it has been raining the past 2 days. I think kind of welcome rain since we've been having a pretty dry season so far. I mean, it is a La Nina year, so it's to be expected, but we did recently have those fires, which it comes with its own, unique little hazards, particularly mudslides. So,
Oh, we're gonna get a lot of those this year. I
yeah,
guarantee it.
I mean, yeah, especially if it starts to rain really hard now after those fires. Oh, good lord,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. We got the rain. What else? Yeah, it's so traffic's been a little bit crazier now. Like everyone's back from all the holiday stuff, and it's
hmm
been crazy on the road.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of, I always say that stereotypes exist for a reason, and uh, when it comes to rain in LA, it's true. No, people in LA don't know how to drive in the rain, and so I mean they get a little skittish, and then a little understandable, so they don't drive as quickly as they might usually do, but there's being safe, and they're just being kind of stupid.
Yeah, you get the polar opposite. Like in this type of weather, you get the guy that like is going to slow down to 10 miles an hour when he doesn't need to go that slow, and then the guy that's going to go 100 miles an hour in the rain.
Right.
And then that's why we have all the damn spinouts and accidents because the guys going 100 are trying to avoid the guys going 10, and
hmm
wham, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, although I will admit, it is a pretty scary thing when you do spin out. Because I actually did spin out one time, uh, a long time ago, and it wasn't even raining that hard, to be honest. It just kind of sprinkled for like half an hour, and then the roads got a little slick, and all the oils from the streets
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
came up. And I was making a simple. I was just simply. I was at a intersection, and I was simply gonna make a left turn. And I, applied my foot to the accelerator, and I was making the turn, and then all of a sudden, I just started spinning out, and it was really scary. And
Yeah.
luckily, there were no cars, that came to a stop, on the other end, because I actually ended up spinning out all the way to um, I guess the left side lane, and yeah, there were no cars there, luckily, and there were cars coming, but they were still like a good like quarter mile off. So I was like, and then yeah, it was and then it was at a, I was still relatively young. I was a fairly inexperienced driver when this happened, so it really freaked me out. And I actually had to, like, after I corrected myself and got back onto my side of the road, I then had to pull over to the side of the road, and I started, like, because the adrenaline rush. I was like screaming, and I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah, it's one of now you brought that up about like the spinning out and all, yeah, the bad drivers. Yeah, I really think that our um, the way that we train drivers in this country is
Mm-hmm.
really awful. Like we don't prepare drivers, especially young ones,
Mm.
uh, to properly handle conditions that they're going to be facing.
Right.
Like in Southern California, in majority of places, we're not going to be facing snow.
Right. I know.
But
I
there
mean,
are
like that
times,
whole black ice question, in Southern California, it's kind of ridiculous.
right? But it is something that does happen in
Right.
certain parts of California, and
Right.
it does
Okay.
happen.
I'll grant it, like Northern California, like in the Sierra Nevadas. I'll totally grant it to you, but I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking
Yeah.
also as prepared as we should train people to handle basically heavy equipment. That's what a car is. It's heavy equipment.
Like I said,
I think
it,
we should also kind of tailor driving tests to specific regions.
yeah.
Because
Well, I mean, there's that.
we are more or less in at least in LA we're in more or less of a desert, and so the I guess the odds of us encountering black ice even in the winter is is very remote. But I guess we could be then uh, trained in rainy day wet driving, because we do experience rain. Don't don't people in other parts of the country don't let the postcards fool you. We do get rain here. So
Yeah, well, something it's like, honestly, I've been yelling about this for a long time. Is we need to have a much more stringent uh, driving test,
mm,
and drivers training
mm,
that allow that we test them to do like like highway safety. What
mm.
happens when your tire blows out? What do you do then? What happens
Oh
when you
yeah,
lose
that's
control
good.
of the
Yeah.
car? And there's a lot of and uh, you know uh, some 30, 40, 50 years ago, people needed to know that or did know that they
Mm-hmm.
were instructed on how to do that. But now it's like, yeah, fuck it, here you go. And it's like they don't teach you anything. Uh and it's kind of a detriment, because when you know yeah, 90% of the time things are going to be just fine. Like, you're not
Mm-hmm.
going to like be in like those crazy situations. But
Mm-hmm.
when they do happen, you turn something that could be a minor issue into something that's like ends up being into a 10-car accident. Yeah, and that's and people die because of that. um and especially in this country, it's harder to buy a gun than it is to like drive a vehicle, which is crazy, because I think the vehicle is a you put that in the hands of a 16-year-old who is texting and or whatever. That's way more dangerous than someone that is a responsible gun owner.
Mm-hmm. True. Now I remember back in the day
That's not
when
a popular. I know that's not going to be a popular opinion, but like whatever you feel about like whether you like guns or not, it is kind of true. Like, I'd rather have someone like pull a gun on me than run me down with a 1-ton car.
I mean, I think it's I think those like kind of, I guess, would they be considered soft skills? Like,
Soft skills.
yeah,
What do you mean?
would that be considered soft skills? I mean, because it's not like tying shoes or brushing your teeth and that kind of, and always making sure to introduce yourself when you meet someone. I mean, those are more or less considered like soft skills, but is
Oh, no, no. I think it's something that needs to be taken much more seriously in this
mm,
country. Driver safety, because uh, I mean, the amount of accidents that I see almost daily is just astronomical. And it's all stuff that can be prevented most of the time. It's a lot of times it's not like mechanical failure. It's
it's
dumbass
human error.
failure.
Yeah, it's human error.
Yeah.
But I think getting to my point is, I think uh, I think it's incumbent on the individual, or in some case, in the case of uh, a car, the parents to teach the kids,
That's
and
not gonna
then
happen.
it's the state's job to make sure, to verify that they have those skills, and and if necessary to offer some sort of kind of baseline instruction. Because I remember there's that insurance that car insurance commercial, like Liberty Mutual, and they have,
Right.
like, there's a story, like they have like these two juxtaposed people with the insurance plans, and it's like, oh, like Liberty Mutual made sure that my kid, if he has a blown out tire, then they're 24-hour roadside assistance, and then like the other kid with like the not the Liberty Mutual insurance is like, oh, it's like, oh, you guys do that, and then like he's on the phone with his dad, and he's like, oh, dad, he's like, and the dad
Oh
asks him, like,
yeah.
he's like, do you know what a lug wrench is? And like the kid's like, oh, of course I know what it is, and like to his buddies, like holding up like a pry bar, and he's like, oh, is this a lug wrench? And
It was not even close to being a lug wrench. It was like,
yeah,
if
and
what
then
a
the
fucking
friend
idiot.
is like, who is just as clueless, like, yeah. And it's like, it's like those kind of skills that you would hope that parents would teach their kids. I remember my dad he didn't necessarily directly teach me how to change a tire, but I was, growing up as a kid, like when we did have a flat tire or whatever, or he was fixing his car, I was always there, and I was always watching, and I was always observing, and I was, I always like, and I was, I was learning, kind of in a passive way by watching my dad do it. And so,
Right.
and then when the time did come, I was able to, do it myself. And it's funny because there was one time I did it, like, I was with a friend, and his tire blew out, and then I was like, all right, let's get your jack out. It's like, oh, it's like, what? What's it? It's like, you do have a jack, right? And it's like, I don't know. And then so I had to, like, luckily, because even though, again, my dad didn't directly teach me, he passively taught me.
Right.
I was able to know, like, go in the trunk, find the jack, find the, all
Spare
the
tire.
necessary, yeah, the tire, and like the lug wrench and all that stuff, and how to undo it, and how to, like, how to put back the lug nuts back onto the tire, and which fashion, to make sure that the balance is good and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
my friend's like, where'd you learn this? Like, my dad taught me.
Well, yeah, it's the other thing that's it's happening out with how cars are nowadays is that the age of being able to like work on your car yourself is slowly dying. Well, actually, it's dead
It's
if
dead.
you really think
It's
about
dead.
it.
The
I mean,
best that
yeah,
I
because
can
I
do is
do like
change my own, like, oil. That's it.
yeah, I know some like the basics. Like, yeah, I know how to change my oil. I know how to like check all like my fluids. Do all the like stuff with the tires. Change tires, rotate tires, all that
Mm,
good stuff.
right.
I can tell like I know like when something's going off with my car. I can feel it.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Like the sound is like different, or there's like some sort of
yeah,
rattle,
so,
or.
yeah, something's not right. Like
Mhm.
those are all things. Those are like kind of the loose like basic things that I know. But to be able to work on a car today, like you almost have to be an electrician or like computer science. Know a lot about like computers and science and all this stuff because yeah,
Well,
all the
in terms of.
even brakes are nowadays are
Oh yeah, they're
yeah,
electronically controlled.
exactly. Like you can't just change brakes like how you normally would either. So
Hmm.
it's kind of you get to a point where it's like I can't fix this. Like I'm gonna fuck up the car even worse than it already is.
Right. Yeah. I guess that's just one of the setbacks caused by progress, is that we make our lives so much easier that um, we don't we stop learning how to do things for ourselves. And I'll admit, it's been maybe when did I first start driving? It may be almost 20 years since I actually change the oil in my car myself. Now I just pay some guy to do it. It's just merely out of convenience. And
True. Yeah.
you know
Um.
and and I mean, I'm not saying that's bad or nothing, but I think one day, I think one day soon, I'm gonna take the time and I'm gonna change the oil myself.
Yeah.
Just so just so I can kind of refresh myself and kind of refamiliarize myself with the part of the car that I rarely look in, which is under the hood.
Right. Right.
I mean,
Yeah. Like right now, I've been.
because recently, yeah, I had a water pump issue with especially the coolant mechanism in my car,
Right.
and I mean, to be honest, like, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I just knew that there's something wrong because the coolant reservoir like kept bubbling over, and it was like there's like this weird noise, and also like there was a lot of like smoke or steam that was like kind of like
At sign. Yeah.
yeah, escaping out of the cracks, the seams of the hood. So I was like, oh, yep, that's something wrong. But yeah, if you think about it, also a lot of mechanics too. It's uh, the whole process of diagnosing a car has become very easy. A lot of times you just plug your car into a computer, and it'll
Yeah. I'll tell
run
you what
like
the
this
issue is. Yeah.
self-diagnostic thing, and then it'll spit out like some things like, oh, your this hose connected to this thing is acting up or is loose, and so on and so forth. So
Right.
I
Right.
mean, in terms of that, yeah, I think we are more and more disconnected from uh, the machines in our lives. But I mean, I think if you really wanted to, you can definitely go and like learn about engines and carburetors or whatever, and you can initiate some like repairs yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. The what was I gonna say? It was, but yeah, like, but that the era of being able to do everything yourself and saving money that way, like, yeah, it's gone unless like you own a car from like the 50s or 60s where you could still do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I remember. God, I remember when I was had to been like 5 or 6. Like I helped my dad, from the ground up, like rebuild a motorcycle, build a motorcycle, restore a motorcycle, and yeah, we did that all by hand. We did it all ourselves. But yeah, but it takes time to do all that stuff, and there's a lot of stuff going on nowadays where we just don't have the time, and so we do take it to people who are specialists in a sense that are specifically trained, and some are better than others. There's some really awful ones out there, but for the most part, like there's some really good ones out there too if you know where you're looking, and I have a couple of good mechanics that I take my car to that I trust, and where it's like, I know, my expertise with when it comes to cars, like I know a lot about the history behind them, and uh, a lot about that stuff. My dad's more of the engineer type. He knows a lot about like how things work, more so than I do. And so I still learn a lot from him, and there's a lot. I don't claim to have that same knowledge, but yeah, we were definitely in a different era nowadays, Andy. We're not quite as bad as this is Lug Crunch, right? Like we're not we're not that bad, but we're not like the couple of generation, like our grandparents' generation, that fixed everything themselves either.
Right. And I think people have this misconception that um, they had some for some reason they think our grandparents' generations or even our parents' generation just like had this knowledge or whatever. but it wasn't. It's just they're just used to doing things for themselves for the most part. I mean,
Right.
there
Well,
are a
yeah,
few
you must
things
have.
that they of course they have to get professional services to do it done. But for the most part, a lot of times they took care of it for themselves. Um, because back then, you acquired life skills. Um, like my dad, he was in the Marines in Korea, and and I'm sure like that contributed a lot to like him like understanding about cars, and
Right.
and which enabled him to work after he got out, he was able to work on like my mom's car and his car and all that sort of stuff, and also he somewhere along the line gained plumbing skills, and uh, and for the entirety of my life, I don't ever remember my father calling a plumber. He just took care of it himself. I mean, he did landscaping and he did some like light subcontracting work. So
Right. Right.
and
Right.
he did like some kind of handyman kind of stuff also. So yeah, so he had all the tools, but he somewhere along the line of living his life, he acquired the skills necessary for him to be proficient enough to put in plumbing or put in an irrigation system for lawns, or work, or repair an engine, or replace a spark plug. And so
Right.
I mean, I recently felt so damned accomplished for replacing a headlight bulb and the side blinker on my car. I
Nice.
and I just all I did was punch it into YouTube, and pulled up, oh, how to change headlight mount in the year of my car, the make, the year, the make, the model of my car, and it was like all right there. And I watched like a 5-minute video, and I learned everything I needed to know to affect the necessary repairs. And I gotta admit, it was the most satisfying thing in the world to have done that, and to do it by myself. And everyone thinks that you have to be so smart, or you have to be so talented, or it's like no one
Mm.
is born with this knowledge. It is acquired, and it is accumulated through experience and just living your life. And so don't think that you have to be a certain type of person or whatever. If you want to know how to do something, just learn about it, and then start doing it, start practicing. Take the steps to learn those things. Like if you want to learn about carpentry, learn about carpentry, and then start off small by like doing small wood carvings. Or if you want to be if you want to learn more about what is it, like appliances, or like electrical systems, learn about that, and then start off by learning about the fuse box in your house. I mean, just really practical steps that anyone can do. Any Tom, Dick, Harry, you know any Tina, Harriet, Denise can do.
Yeah. It's like, and what I was thinking is like, a lot of the reason that like my grandparents, they kind of just did stuff on their own is, they grew up in the Depression, so
Right,
there
right, yeah.
was no buy a new one. You had to make what you had last.
Mhm.
Um, and along the way, like my dad, gained a lot of that knowledge from my grandfather. And I remember as a kid, like we did a lot of the housework like ourselves. Like my dad, I helped my dad like rebuild or redesign the whole like kitchen. Yeah, The only thing he would never touch was like electrical stuff because he's like screw
Mm,
that, I can't do
yeah.
electrical work.
I mean,
He'd
that's
always hire an
understandable. I mean,
electrician.
luckily for us, my uncle, my dad's brother is, I don't know if he's a master electrician, but he's he does have electrician skills. So
Yeah,
whenever
that's a
something goes
whole
something electrical, we always call him, and he always kind
yeah
of
I
nails it.
yeah I have no idea when it comes to electrical stuff. It's like that's a whole nother thing. But like some of like the basic stuff and how to use certain tools and like what to do on certain things. It's stuff that a few things that I picked up myself along the way. Just working with my dad, and it's kind of vice versa. It's a little bit of that. Connecting yourself to your past and a little bit. So,
I
but
mean, yeah, because
slowly that I think
like your
that's
grandparents growing up in the depression era. I mean, similarly, my parents grew up or were born during the Korean War, and then were and kind of grew up post Korean War, and so
yeah,
Korea was trying to get back on, or South Korea was trying to get back on its
right.
feet and establish itself, and it wasn't all
Right. It
peaches.
was
It
that
wasn't all peaches and
same
cream.
idea. Yeah, same idea. It's like there was no buy a new one. You fix what you had.
Right? Yeah. You had to make it last. And, I mean, yeah,
But
that's why I think I tend to try and like even with my cell phone, like it, or past cell phones, especially like when it got to like smart phone
uh huh.
times. I was always trying to like affect repairs to my phone instead of just instead of just getting a new one or something like
Right. Right.
I mean
Right.
simple things, nothing crazy. Like I remember uh, my BlackBerry phone. There was a time when the battery just stopped holding a charge, and so like I just started getting new batteries, and then what was it? And then like another one, another smartphone, like one of the cameras, I forget, like the front or back facing camera has been got a little wonky, and so like I just looked up, I just found like a replacement, and I on off of eBay or Amazon, and I bought it, and I just affected repairs, and yeah, there's like, and and I'm glad that we're going down this line of thought because just came out recently that that Apple was throttling its older phones
Yeah.
through updates. It's like yeah, it's like that planned obsolescence within technology these days because like because there's no money to be had if you don't keep buying the newest and latest things. So they purposefully at least for hardware stuff they keep trying to come out with this the new as the kids would say,
Yeah.
and
Oh, people are furious about that.
yeah, right, and it's like why I got why I got to be dickheads about your phones. Why can't you just let them be? People. That's the kind of thing that makes people not want to buy your products anymore. And and because then you lose customer loyalty to a brand, and sometimes like they never companies never recover from that.
Right. And well, a great example of that is Craftsman Tools. They have a lifetime guarantee. Every tool that they've made has had a lifetime guarantee. And you know
Mm-hmm.
what people don't do? They don't stop buying Craftsman Tools. They keep buying new tools all the time.
Right.
And they make a goddamn good product. I mean, my dad still has screwdrivers and parts like ratchets and stuff from like 30 years ago, 30, 40 years ago that are still working great. Um, but like it's crazy that that idea is when people used to make products to last the test of time, uh, and because of that, with people, there was the belief that hey, if we make something that's gonna last and stay, people are gonna come back anyways because like oh hey, like you built this great thing, I have more money, I want to buy a new one too, but they keep their old one. Uh, but that's just not how it is anymore either. Like we have a lot of companies like, yeah, fuck it, we'll make it the cheapest way we can, and people buy the new one anyways, so fuck it.
Right.
And
I mean,
Apple's
and
a example of
kind
that.
of similarly, what was it? Samsung, they had like that whole like exploding S7 fiasco that went on, and I think they handled it pretty well because I think in terms of like PR and stuff like that, I think they handled it pretty well because they addressed the issue. They're like, oh, we're sorry, we hold ourselves to a higher standard even than our customers, and we're always trying to affect change and make the a superior product for our customers and stuff. And they bounced back. They dropped the
Right.
S8 and like the S 8 Note, and
Yeah,
that phone.
that's what I got now.
There it is. And that phone's been doing gangbusters.
Yeah. Oh, it's an awesome phone. I love it. And that's the thing is like the phone that I had before this. God dang, I had that thing for a a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
and the only reason like I needed to kind of nix it is the battery life was getting really bad, and
Right.
I was willing to deal with it, but my girlfriend, she ended up buying me a new phone. I was like, oh, this is unexpected.
Mm.
So I mean, I'm definitely like happy I got the new one, but I could have survived on the old one, and
Mm-hmm.
I think also being part in the working for the Navy, and for like now I'm at the post office, is like it's kind of that same ideal. Is like we gotta just like make what we have work, and a lot of it is shitty equipment that's like really old, but it's still
Right. I
kind of
was
sort
actually
of
just about to bring that up because I mean, like, when's the last time you saw like the newest model of a mail truck?
I
Never,
don't.
never, right? It's like they've been rocking the same. They've been rocking the same mail trucks. The same, like they're rocking the same like surplus World War II era like Jeeps converted to mail trucks or whatever, and like they there's no
Yeah,
new mail truck.
crazy.
There's no there's that. It's not like every year there's there whatever whichever company makes those is like coming out the
There
latest the mail truck.
uh, there's certain post offices that are newer that'll have some of the new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll have like some of the newer like equipment and as far as like trucks go,
Mm-hmm.
but that's so far and few between. Most of those trucks are like 20, 30, 40 years old, 50 years old sometimes, with like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles on there. um, and I think now it's before it wasn't so bad because it was I think 82 or 83 is when they stopped taking in taxpayer money.
Oh yeah, that's when they completely went independent.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like we're part of we're a government company, yet but we act independently. So like
Right.
we're like private and government at the same time. It's weird.
Well, so you're like the model has become privatized, but it's still under the auspices of Congress.
Yeah, we're part of the executive branch of
Oh,
government.
executive branch. Okay.
Yeah, and then so yeah, like because once they went to that model, they're like, well, fuck this, we're not gonna buy new stuff. I still have a feeling that stuff from the day that they enacted that is still getting used today. I guarantee it.
Mm.
Um, there's not much that's new, and but yeah, it's like you just have to make it work. That's and get the job done somehow, some way. Um, Hell, even getting like repairs done for things is just it's such a pain in the ass.
Mm. Yeah, I mean it's kind of like that old kind of like that old attitude of like just give me a piece of just give me some chewing gum and a string and I'll get it to work.
They'll MacGyver it together.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just like yeah. I mean, that's actually it's funny because like that word, that word and application, you know, only came after like that TV show because he was basically doing, he was the superhero that made crafts, you know,
Essentially, yeah.
essentially, and so yeah, I mean, and then like that word became, like came into the lexicon, and it's like, yeah, like, I MacGyver the shit out of that, you know. It's like, oh, so you were able to affect, you know, some workaround or patch job to get the desired effect.
Yeah.
You know,
Don't thank me.
in
Thank
the
the Earth's
interim.
gravitational pull.
What was that?
It's like, don't thank me. Thank the Earth's gravitational pull.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Again, for those of you that don't know, that's a Simpsons reference. But do you remember when they finally gave Richard
Oh
Dean
yeah.
Anderson a shout out? Yeah, it got
Oh my
actually got
God,
him
that was
on the
such a
show. Oh
fantastic
man,
episode. I loved it.
that was amazing. Cause like yeah, cause
Oh my God, it was so great.
yeah, because if you guys didn't know, Richard Dean Anderson was the actor that played MacGyver, and Patty and Selma, Marge's sisters, were rabid MacGyver fans.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
So, yeah, and so they finally brought Richard Dean Anderson on the show, and in the episode, he was more about like the new show that he was on, and like was on for like over 10 years, Stargate SG-1, which is I'm a fan of, and it's a great show. It's a great show. I love that show. And so, but he was like, yeah, he kind of had like he had this attitude. It was like, oh, MacGyver, I'm so past it, I'm so over it. And then like Patty and Selma kidnap him and tie him up and leave him in their apartment. And then he was able to free himself by doing some MacGyver type of thing. And it kind of like
love for,
the thrill that he had of being MacGyver. And then he kind of goes. He kind of goes insane. He's like, oh, I MacGyvered these hamburgers I made them out of rubber bands. And it's like,
yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, and then he's kind of like taking it to like the
extreme,
the next crazy level of being MacGyver, and just like, I don't know. It's like, what have we done? I think we've created a monster.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was actually one of the newer episodes that I really loved a lot. I thought it was great.
Yeah. If anything, just because they actually, because it's funny because in the other show Stargate SG-1, he would constantly make Simpsons references.
Really? See, I don't remember that.
No. Yeah. He made constant Simpsons references. Like, he would be, he would do like the Homer, like, donut kind of thing, but, switch out donut for some other type of food, or his character on that show, O'Neill, he had an analogy of Mr. Burns being one of the principal bad guys on his new show, which was called the Goa'uld. And the Goa'uld are these ancient parasitical beings that inhabit human beings, And so, like, he was making like the comparison to Burns as a Goa'uld, and then.
Oh yeah, man, I guess I missed that. Maybe I gotta go back and watch Stargate SG-1 then.
Yes, it's a good show. Anyone out there, it's a good show. It's good fun. I mean, the first season, they're very more episodic and not serialized.
Right.
And they're trying to carry the tone from the movie that came out in '96 by the same name, Stargate.
Right.
But by season 2, I would say by season 2, they started getting into their own thing, and they started doing more serialized work and really fleshing out the world that was inspired by the original movie, and then just making it their own thing, and it was great.
Yeah, this is definitely not the way I thought we were going to go today. I had some other things in mind, but no, it was we had some good topics today.
Yeah, that's how it usually goes, doesn't it? We always have these grand plans, but
yeah, I definitely had grand plans for today's discussion, but that changed. It's all it just It sparked with a conversation about the weather.
Yeah, I know, right? Start from the weather, and then we ended up talking about what is it,
Richard Dean
MacGyver.
Anderson.
Yeah, Richard Dean Anderson.
Hey,
RDA. What was that?
Richard Dean Anderson is always the answer.
Yes. He is always the answer to everything. To life, the universe, everything. Yeah, it's not 42. The answer is not 42.
It's not.
Oh.
Well, any other big plans for the week there, Andy?
Not really. I mean, I'm pretty slammed this week, actually.
Yeah.
I'm finishing up that project for this one client, and then we'll be filming another episode of the regular podcast, which I know that I haven't even finished. I haven't even finished editing the one that we filmed last time with your friend Kim, which I do feel bad about.
Yeah, I told her that it's coming. So
it's coming. I promise. I swear. It's coming. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, and I've been doing. God, I've been really well. I've been busy with work, but I've been also doing a lot of other things for the podcast too. Where it's just like all my free time has been like taken up with that, which is fine. I enjoy it. But now that my girlfriend's back in school, helping her out with stuff too is like that's a whole nother. I'm a history. It's like, well, I'm no longer an English tutor. Now I'm a history tutor. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm only laughing because I am so brutal with Robert's girlfriend.
Yeah,
it just makes me laugh.
Yeah, for those of you that watch and like know us or have met us, yeah, you know who she is, and you know that she is kind of a handful, and she definitely has the best reactions. So Andy just kind of goes off on her, which is great.
Yeah, and it's funny because she doesn't realize that if she would stop reacting, I would stop, acting that way towards her.
Well, I remember, like, there was times where, like, she would wake me up in, like, the middle of the night. He's like, does Andy hate me? It's like, no, he's joking with you. Just stop fucking reacting. And why did you wake me up in the middle of the night to cry about Andy?
No, she really did that? She really woke you up in the middle of the night and said, does Andy hate me?
Yes.
Oh, my God. No way. No.
I was dead asleep. And she's like, Robert, can't sleep. It's like... Andy hates me. He doesn't. Oh my God, get over it.
Wait, was it that one time when I got really pissed off at both of you guys?
No. This is another time. It was something else. I was like, he's fucking with you. Like he fucks with everybody. Like you just had to not react.
Yeah, it's funny because I told her as much. I was like, "Hey, stop reacting, and I'll leave you alone." I said straight up to her. My freaking nephew, I do this to him all the time. Like because one time during a family ski trip, he was on his phone, like talking to someone, and or texting with somebody, and I was like, oh, who are you talking to? And I just asked him, who you talking to? And he's like, oh, just a friend. I was like, oh, girlfriend? And he's like, no. I was like, oh. I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, you don't have to be so shy with me. Come, tell me your name. Tell me your name. And I was like, tell me your name. And I kept bugging him, and so I was like, he's like, fine, you're not gonna tell me. I'm just gonna make one up. And I was like, oh, Shirley. He's like, oh, and then so every time I would see him, I was like, oh, how are you and Shirley doing? And he's like, I don't. He's like, I don't have a girlfriend. And you get like all.
I don't have one.
I know, and then that went on for a little bit, and then finally I was like, hey, you know what? If you didn't react, the way you do when I tease you about this, I'll leave you alone. The only reason why I keep doing it is because you keep reacting. And then he finally is like, I told him straight out, and then the next time I saw him, and I was like, oh, how's Shirley doing? He's like, and like and he ignored me, and I was like, okay, all right, now
There you go.
So now, so now he doesn't. Now he knows not to react.
Exactly.
But this is funny because I did the same thing. I did the same thing to your girlfriend, and she still reacts.
Yeah.
Every single time.
And I told her, it's like, if Andy didn't like you, this would not happen.
Yeah.
Like, he would not talk to you at all.
Exactly. If I didn't like you, I would not make fun of you. Right. If I was indifferent, I wouldn't. I would be the nicest person in the world to you. I would treat.
I treat all my friends like shit.
What was that?
I treat all my friends like shit.
Yeah.
That's how they know I care.
Yeah, I gave shit to everybody. Like, I gave shit to Daniel. I gave shit to Daryl. I gave shit to everybody.
Me especially. Like, I've been fired so many times. I feel like Billy.
Right? See, that's how you know that you have my affection and my respect. If I give you shit.
If you didn't do that, I wouldn't. I would think you really did.
You're like, if I didn't give you shit, like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah, it's funny because I can Brandon, who we will eventually have on this podcast at some point or another. It's like I can tell, like, when he's in a bad mood or something's going on, but it's like he doesn't like fuck around. I was like, dude, like, are you like okay? Like, you've been kind of in like a you're not like laughing at my jokes or kind of bring sending it back my way, and it's like, yeah, I'm kind of like pissed off. I was like, all right, like, we're still good, right? It's like, yeah, we're fine. It's like, all right.
Are you mad at me? Like, no.
It's like, all right, that's all I need to know.
Yeah, that's funny because when I get angry, I get kind of quiet as well. But there's sometimes it's like, yeah, because it's funny because you know that I'm pissed off when I'm quiet. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm like actually yelling or like kicking up a fuss, you know that I'm not that mad.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. So, but
no,
like, if I'm dead quiet, I'm just like sitting there and I'm like, you can't even hear me breathing, then you know that I am pissed off.
Yeah, I know. I got you pretty pissed off at least one day. So I was like, I know how that is.
Yeah. So yeah, Rob has definitely felt my anger.
Only once. I don't need to feel it again.
I know, right?
But
it was like a chill down your spine, right? It's like, I don't never want to feel that shit ever again.
Well, the people I'm closest to, I never want to make them pissed off at me or anything.
I know. That's my plan. I see. I get angry. I get pissed. People pissed. If people piss me off, I let them, like, even though I'm not yelling, I let them know that I am pissed off, and this is like, I wanted to feel like an icy breeze that penetrates your body, that like it hurts your bones. That's like that's the kind of anger that I want people to feel that I have for them at that moment, and I want them to never want to feel that again. So like they'll never like do anything to piss me off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's my tactic. I mean, it's funny because like my dad is like he's my dad's a yeller.
Yep.
And so like he's pissed off. He'll like he like gesticulates and like he'll like he'll raise his voice and all that stuff like, and like, yeah, I get it, you're angry. Okay. But like I want people to like be like, I never want to feel Andy's anger ever again.
Yeah, exactly. So that's yeah, it depends. Like, a lot of times I just get like really quiet. It's like, I'm just not gonna say anything. And just like, yeah, yeah, I'm like that, and it's like, just get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
But then there's some people who it's like, you know what, I've had enough, and then I lay into them. But there's only certain people that have felt that. Most of the time, I'm just like, you know what, this is not the hill that I need to die on, so I'll just shut my mouth.
Right. That's the thing about me that that I'm always trying to work on because there are a bunch of different things that piss me off. Uh, but but I'm alone. But there are. Lost my train of thought.
Lots of things that make you angry.
Yeah, lots of things that make me angry, and I kind of have that struggle. It's like, man, this like pisses me off so much, and I want and I want to voice it, but then again, it goes back to that. It's like, but is this the hill I want to die on?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, what was that? It was an Abraham Lincoln quote. I think I shared this like a couple of streams ago about this Abraham Lincoln quote. It's like, if you want to know what a man stands for, pay attention to what he gets angry about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
something along those lines. Yeah, and it's
yeah, and that's true. And then because like I guess that's the measuring stick that I use. When confronted with certain topics or whatever, it's like is this so egregious that it goes like I can't like that I can't abide it and I have to say something, or is it something that is kind of annoying and is pestersome at the moment, but I can ultimately let it go.
There's a few times where like when my character is being insulted incorrectly.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I will stand up for myself in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, no, that's not true. If it was true, then yeah, fuck it. You're right. I'm wrong, and so I'll take it. But like when I'm not, when character defamation is a big thing for me, and yeah, like there's a few other things, but like that's a big one where I always like, no, I'm not just a fucking like rug for you to wipe your feet on. I'm gonna stand up for myself. Because there's a lot of times where I get blamed for stuff that I never did. It's like, no, and I'm not taking the fall for that either.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just but it is like it's funny because it is a tactic that is being used more frequently, especially in our political climate. Where people will throw out the accusation of someone being a Nazi or whatever.
Well, yeah, it's all ad hominem attacks.
Right.
Trying to destroy someone's character because they can't argue with them intellectually.
Right, but like the reason why it's effective is because especially when someone on the left lobs it at someone on the right. The only reason it's so effective is because the person on the right or the person receiving it is a decent person. And he understands like the weight. Even though now it's just like being flung around like it's nothing. It's like, oh, you're a Nazi, you're a Nazi, you're a Nazi, Nazi this, Nazi that. And so like it kind of loses its strength. But to someone who is a decent human being and cares about their character or their reputation, they're gonna try and fight it, tooth and nail. It's like, no, I'm not a Nazi, and they're gonna vehemently deny the association. So, yeah, that's the only reason why it's effective. It's because the person being accused of such a thing, and it's usually someone on the right is a decent person, and they want to defend their reputation, their character, their honor, so what have you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, no plans for you this week, or other than like the stuff that we talked about. I'm busy too. Yeah, actually, well, we're definitely seeing a lot more of each other the past couple weeks. We've been filming a lot more recently after our what I guess it was like be our holiday break, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took a little bit of a break.
Yeah, and I'm already sick of it.
I know. I'm sick of me.
Yeah. See, again, if I did not like Robert, I would not be saying such awful and horrible things to him.
Yeah. And then yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We got a cool guest on, so you'll see our previous guest at some point in the future for the main show.
Yes, as soon as I get some free time to actually sit
Yeah.
down. I mean, I feel kind of guilty because I have been, pumping out stuff for the gaming show, but that's relatively easy to do. But
Right.
the
We
podcast
we
is
have
a little bit more involved, and so
right, but that's fine. Well, after tomorrow, we'll definitely have a lot of content coming out more regularly for that.
yeah,
For at least a few weeks, so that'll be good.
yeah.
And maybe we can do something where we're putting something out like once a week for that or something. So that way people are getting like little itty bitty clips here and there. But yeah, we got a cool guest coming on tomorrow. Really excited for it. We'll have Dan back on the podcast, so that's also exciting because yeah, the last was it? Well, we had the whole group essentially when Joel was here, and then last time it was just you, me, and my friend. But this time we'll have an extra person on from our team, so that's pretty cool. So I'm excited about that. We haven't had Dan on in a while, so we'll rib him a little bit.
Yeah. Can't wait for that.
And yeah, and I definitely have a ton of drinks for the group. I still have about a year's supply worth of beer in my fridge from New Year's.
Yeah. Let me talk to you about that, Rob. I think you have a problem.
Well, if I had a problem, it'd be gone by now. So I think I've gone through since about New Year's Eve. I've maybe had like 6 to 7 beers total. Out of because we bought we bought 1, 2, 3 12-packs and another 3 or 4 6-packs.
Yeah, that is kind of a lot of beer.
Yeah. So I've maybe out of that I've maybe had one of 6-packs total.
Let's see. Wait, oh yeah, that was for New Year's.
Man, yeah, New Year's.
Time is going by. For me, time is going by so quickly.
Yeah, it's before you know it, the month is gonna be over already.
Yeah,
so
I'm it's like, oh, it just felt like it was just New Year's. Like, what are you talking about? It was 3 months ago. I was like, what?
Yeah, exactly. That's what's gonna happen.
But yeah, we're still chugging along. We actually acquired 5 new subscribers.
5? Damn, I only knew of 3.
Yeah, we're up to 27. Whoops.
Shoot. we're moving on our goal for the year.
Yeah. I initially set the goal of getting 50 subscribers by summer, so June.
Yeah.
So we're on our way.
We only need 23 more.
Or
I was saying by the end of the year I was getting about 25 new
25
subscribers.
more 25
new subscribers
in 6 months.
Yeah, and I'm already, if we're gonna hit the 25, we're already a fifth of the way there. That's pretty awesome, and we're not even through the into the 3rd week of January yet. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, but, yeah. So that's pretty exciting. I'm really happy about that.
Me too.
Well, Andy, I know you have a party to get to.
Not so much a party, but just it's a friend of mine's birthday, and it's also today's my dad's birthday. So, but
is that your friend? Is that the party you're going to? Your dad's birthday? It's okay if your dad's your friend.
No. Of course not. But no, this is
cool.
This is specifically for a friend of mine who I was a bit of a mentor to growing up. And now he's become a young man himself, and so it's
You're there to pass on the torch.
exactly. I mean, I'm not the only one in his life that was like a mentor to him, but I was, one of, one of, let's see,
The contributors.
yeah, contributors. I guess if you want to say, like one of three men in this kid's life that kind of that helped like shape him and kind of make him the man that he is today, as it were.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, but I'm really proud of this kid because he did go through some struggles. He did but he has been able to make something of himself, and I guess that comes back, I guess that because he comes from like kind of a broken family, and he was one of those who definitely was seeking a father figure,
Right.
and yeah, and then and despite some of the things that he's gone through, he has been able to turn his life around and make it something worthwhile. And yeah, and I mean, again, it comes back to that thing we were talking about at the beginning of the show, and which was passing on knowledge, or to the next generation, and ensuring that that they are prepared and ready to take on the world and its challenges. And
Right.
I think you know and I don't think that you don't have anything to offer anybody, because more likely than not, you absolutely do have something to offer to somebody, and 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 that person will be will become part of your legacy. Something that
Absolutely.
you were able to pass down, and that person's going to take it with them, and then maybe eventually they'll pass it on to somebody else, and and you'll create this long chain throughout time, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like blood. It can just be an attitude, a perspective, you know
Right.
and you'll be able to even though you might only affect this one person, that person's going to go on to affect another person, and count, and then go on and on and on. So
Right.
don't for those of you out there, don't sell yourself short. you know
Yep.
you always have
Absolutely.
something you always have something to pass on. You'll always have something to give to somebody, and you never know, it just might come back, it just might come back to you in an unexpected way.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, life lesson for the day.
Yeah. Well,
Anyways,
hey, my voice lasted the entire time. I'm pretty happy
yes,
about that.
yes, blessings. For truly there is a God, and He loves us.
Yep.
All right, well, I guess we'll close it out here for tonight. Thank you for joining us. I know this is a pre-tape, but again, join us every Tuesday here on the Circle of Jerks podcast YouTube channel at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please, like, comment, share, subscribe. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you thought of this episode. Tell us, if you would like to get our takes on anything. Just leave it down in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to catch Rob's show, Up by Up Down, which drops every Thursday. Again, on the Circle of Jerks YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow us on our social medias: Twitter at podcastcoj, and on Instagram at Circle of Jerks Podcast. And that will do it for us tonight. On behalf of Robert and myself, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.